Alright, welcome back. Halos 3 linggo na lang ang natitira sa regular season schedule ng NBA at panahon na naman para pumili ng winners ng top individual awards ng liga. Isa sa pinakamainit na labanan ay para sa MVP award kung saan may ilang worthy candidates tulad nina James Harden ng Houston Rockets, Kawhi Leonard ng San Antonio Spurs, ang 4-time MVP na si LeBron James at ang triple-double king na si Russell Westbrook. Now, para sa usapan na yan, kasama natin ngayon ang basketball analyst at assistant coach ng Adamson na si Coach Ren Renatualo. Ren, welcome back to The Score.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Okay, konti na. Ilang games na to for all the teams. Less than a month to go.
Yes.
April tayo magsisimula ng playoffs, end of April. And because of that, everyone's looking at the MVP race na.
Yes.
Although we were looking at it at the start, at the middle. I think this is the best time to talk about really kung saan nakita mo lahat ng stats na rankings na. Okay, isa-isa natin itong 4 na candidates na to, no? Siguro let's start with Kawhi Leonard there amongst the 4. Anong meron si Kawhi that you think, if you were to choose him as an MVP, what has he done great this season para sa Spurs na masasabi nating MVP siya na liga?
Well, number 1 yung asset niya is his defensive plays. Right. I mean, doon mo siya maasahan. He's the defensive player of the year. He's the leader of the San Antonio Spurs right now. Ngayon, nagsi-step up siya sa offensive side. So, talagang malaking kandidato ngayon si Kawhi Leonard for the MVP. Siyempre, you know, Greg Popovich, minsan hindi niya ginagamit ng todo.
Right. So, sa lagay na yun, yung numbers pa niya could even be more.
Yes.
Tama. That's an interesting thing you bring up, no, Ren, no? Yung defense. Kasi yun ang mahirap i-quantify.
Yes.
Yun yung kumbaga sa judging yan eh. Hindi porket marami kang steals at marami kang blocks, it doesn't mean you're a good defender. Yes. Kasi minsan pwede ka naman humihelp defense lang, nakakaagaw ka na at nakaka-blocks ka na, di ba? Pero yung talagang one-on-one lockdown defense, it's hard to argue that he's not one of the best, if not the best. So,
he is the best
how
now.
do you think na dapat kasama yun sa usapang MVP?
Of course, when you say MVP, he's the most valuable there inside the floor. He's the one who's taking the shots for the Spurs, and he's the one who's taking the other team's best scorer.
Right, which is really rare.
Yeah, rare talaga.
Correct.
Out of the candidates right now, he's the most defensive. Siya yung pinaka-agresibo sa depensa.
Correct, on both ends. Okay, lipat tayo kay James Harden na isa sa mga nakakatuwang experiment na panoorin kasi nung pumasok si Coach Mike D'Antoni, nag-declare sila, we're gonna make him a point guard, lahat tayo, papasa ba yan? Pero lo and behold, marunong at mahusay palang pumasa si The Beard. Nung throughout the season, when he started doing it well and he was continuing to do it, anong nakikita mo sa kanya? How were you reacting to this?
Well, number 1, he was branded as a selfish player before. Last year lang. So, nagulat lahat, especially me. The way he played before last season, I mean, ibang-iba now. He's a leader inside the floor. You can see, yung mga tira niya, hindi pilit. I mean, hindi siya wala siya sa top 5 ng attempts eh. But he's number 1 in assists. Number 3 or number 2, tied in number 2 with Isaiah Thomas in scoring.
Correct.
Tapos he's still rebounding. Everything you ask from him, except the turnovers, they're both number 1 and number 2.
Ang dalawa ni Russell Westbrook.
Yes, pero the way he plays, he sees the floor talaga. Talagang pag ikaw yung nag-mature in a year, he turned around his game into positive way.
Grabe, no?
Grabe.
And that's made the Rockets instantly a contender.
Number 3.
Without adding anybody significant naman talaga, di ba?
Yung mga B+ players o B- players, nagiging B+, nagiging A because of him. Napapagaling niya yung mga teammates
And
niya.
that as well, okay. So when we talk about Kawhi, defense should be a great, quantifying factor to make him MVP. For Harden ba, it's how much better he makes his teammates also.
Yes. Yun yung major factor for me. Because if napapagaling mo yung sarili mo at napapagaling mo yung teammates mo, you'll be a better team. Or maybe the best team in the league. Well, they're number 3 now.
Right.
Last season, sobrang bahaba ng rankings nila. So, malaking advantage for James Harden to win this MVP this year.
Kailangan bang hingian siya ng proof on the defensive end naman? Obviously, malayo siya.
Malayo siya.
Nakakachamba. Is that necessary? I mean, we've seen MVPs in the past naman na were never elite defenders.
Yes.
Case in point, 2-time MVP si Steph Curry was not naman really an elite point guard defender. But, okay. For Harden ba, we know naman dati, pinagtatawanan pa siya. Minsan nakakatulog sa depensa yan. Hindi natin maintindihan kung ano nangyari. Pero, Okay lang ba na maaring makakuha siya ng votes for MVP even if he's not that high on the defensive end?
Hindi lang naman kasi yung tinitingnan sa MVP.
Right.
May mga friendship pa yan na sinasabi kung marami kang kaibigan,
Right.
hindi ka snobero or pwede kang maging role model sa mga bata. You have this signature move na pwede maging face ng NBA. Like si Steph Curry, this past 2 years, everybody shooting the 3-pointers.
Correct.
Tumataligod pa after. Ngayon, they're cooking now.
They're busy cooking now. Okay, before we talk about the number one contender, LeBron James, 4-time MVP. Parang ang mahirap kay LeBron, he has set his standards so high.
Mataas, yes.
Na parang he always has to beat that,
Yeah.
what he used to do before. Although he still got great numbers this year. Ang taas ng kanya, even his 3-point shooting, I think is at around 40% again, which is a good number for him. And we all know his defensive qualities, his leadership qualities as well. But what will it take para sa isang LeBron James na madaig yung out-of-this-world numbers nila James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and yung defensive numbers ni Kawhi Leonard para naman siya maging MVP ulit?
Yun nga, sabi mo nga, given na si LeBron na averaging 29-9-9. Tapos, yung story kasi ang hinahanap minsan ng tao or ng NBA, kung paano ka magiging MVP. Like, eto si LeBron, how will you make him an MVP right now? Medyo maraming negative ang nangyari nil past season. Like, he was complaining, wala siyang masyadong help. Yung lineup nila, hindi pa sapat yun for them to make it to the playoffs or to be a contender. So, paano yung votes mo makukuha sa mga ibang players? He's complaining. He should be the best player in the world, right? So, bakit siya nagko-complain ng ganun? So, medyo negative
that might hurt his stock. Tama. Good point. Pero, if we stick to basketball-wise, how would you rate that he's done so far this year? I mean, people still call him the best player in the world, even though the numbers, Westbrook has better numbers in terms of offensive, like take away the turnovers, and same with Harden. Pero, how would you say that he's still, arguably the best player in the world?
Pag wala siya sa Cleveland Cavaliers, medyo hindi sila nananalo.
Yun na nga, malayo.
So, he's the best talaga. Hands down. But, syempre, yung mga categories, yung mga kailangan mo i-consider, kailangan talagang i-consider yun. Kailangan talagang bigyan ng pansin.
Meron na bang tinatawag na MVP voting fatigue? Kasi yun daw yung, I remember he said that. He said that when he lost it to that year that Derrick Rose won it. I think naka 2 in a row siya or something, 3 in a row, tapos biglang Derrick Rose. Kasi nagsawa na kayo sa akin. Parang, meron bang ganong nanunuyan ang tao sa kanya factor na iba naman ang MVP dapat?
Kasi yun yung parang hindi natin masasabing curse or stigma pag magaling kang player. Like even Michael Jordan before, pag hindi siya nag-average yung 30 points per game, ano to, may sakit? Diba?
Tumatanda ka naman. Correct.
Yun yung kaso ngayon kay that's the case of LeBron James. His standards is so high. Na he has to top that. He's averaging 26 points per game, medyo mababa.
Still great numbers.
Pero for him it's mababa,
correct,
'di ba? For his standards. Pag nag-average siya ng 8 rebounds, medyo baba niya kay LeBron, 'di ba? So minsan, kailangan niyang, may iba naman na kailangan niyang gawin.
I remember the time when Steve Nash won MVP. He didn't even break the 20-point bar. I think parang 80-90 lang siya. Parang taas na assist niya, parang 11-12. Anyway, okay. So obviously now, everybody's top favorite is Russell Westbrook. He's broken records in terms of triple-doubles. He's nearing the all-time record of potentially averaging a triple-double for the season, which is unbelievable, wild. Unahin natin yung journey this season. Ano sa tingin, maliwanag ba na motivation niya na maging beast mode lalo yung pagkawala ng kanyang BFF na si Kevin Durant?
Pwedeng pinersonal niya si Kevin Durant. Di ba nag-sign siya ng $3 million deal with Oklahoma na pwedeng halaga ng $85 million.
He could have gotten way more money.
Yes.
For another time or another team. Pero
personal siya. May range siya sa katawan niya ngayon na he plays like that. Parang galit lagi. So, I think Kevin Durant helped him to be like that.
Is it easy? How can one play angry and still focus? Di ba minsan sabihin ng mga coach, Ren, huwag ka magalit. Cool ka lang. Di ba? Parang it's hard to imagine someone playing angry and yet focus. Pero paano nagagawa ni Westbrook yun?
Well, napanood nyo nga isang interview about that. Tinanong siya, why are you playing out of rage? Rage talaga. That's the only way to play. Yun lang yung alam kong laruin. So sabi niya, pwede pala yun. Sabi ko, galit na galit siya talaga kasi the way he slashes, the way he dunks the ball, talagang may extra movement pa eh.
Correct. May galit talaga. Pero yung numbers niya, yung scoring niya, yung rebounds niya, yung assist niya, he's talagang, breaking the charts right now. Paano niya nagagawa to? I mean, is it something that we didn't expect that he could do? I mean, he had a great run last year. And remember when Durant was injured for a time, I think 2 years ago, for such a 20-something games, siya din, rumachaga. Suddenly, si Westbrook pwede pala mag-assist. I think that was the first time we saw pwede pala mag-assist ang isang Russell Westbrook. Pero what have you seen in his game? What does he change? Is it something that he's changed in the way he's played? Billy Donovan being a second-year coach, is it something as well na adjusting system?
Well, number one, we've seen that before. Okay. So, you just told that.
May glimpses na yan.
Yeah, may ganun siya. Ngayon, ginawa niyang on a daily basis, which is so hard to focus.
Right.
But sabi nga natin, pag nawalan ng isang franchise player ang isang team, eto na si Westbrook. He's the single franchise player na pwedeng magdala sa Oklahoma City.
Right,
so, kung wala siya doon, hindi natin alam kung nasan si Oklahoma.
Correct. They surely would not be in the playoff picture at all. Yung kanya turnover numbers, I've heard some people criticize that might be an issue na, okay, fine, grabe yung points niya, grabe yung rebounds and assists, pero mataas talaga yung turnover numbers niya.
Oh, mataas.
Or should we just attribute this to the use, may sinasabi silang usage rate, di ba? The amount of times hawak mo yung bola.
Yes. Like, for example, ito si James Harden. Both of them, they're the number 1 and number 2 top contenders for the MVP.
Yep.
But they're the number 1 turnover players na nagko-commit. They average, 5.8, 5.4 turnovers per ball game. Mataas. But, sila yung may hawak ng bola 90% of the time.
So, understandable para sila pag gano'n.
Pag hindi sila talagang mangyayari because of the defense also na nakafocus sa kanila. Imposible yung hindi sila magkaroon ng turnover because every team now that they play prepares for them.
Right. And all the more, the way they're playing so well, every team will probably have defensive schemes for them.
Iba-iba.
Force them to give up the ball, double team them, triple team them, and yet, they're still putting up these numbers, still racking up the wins. Okay, ito, so Fearless Forecast, sa apat na yan, Ren, alam natin kahit paano kung paano bumoto yung NBA, yung players, yung media, yung league, meron din silang votes. And remember, last time around, back-to-back si Curry, but then after that, there was a players-only awards.
It was James Harden.
Harden pala yung MVP ng mga players. Okay, ngayon, ano tingin mo, sino magtatagumpay bilang MVP?
Well, the rate James Harden is playing right now, I think it's gonna be James Harden.
James Harden.
Because everybody's happy. Yung vibe nila sa team, masaya sila. The relationship niya with players and with other coaches, masaya sila. So,
and they're a contender.
And they're number 3 seed now. So, mataas yung tinaas sila. Si Oklahoma, nasa 7th ata. They're number 3. End of the day, yung stats-wise, performance level, halos parehas, hindi naman malayo eh. But, medyo malayo yung standings. So, they're in the number 3 seed. Number 7 si Oklahoma. Projected 44 wins si Houston. Medyo malaking advantage for James Harden.
Mabigat na mabigat. So, will the Beard finally get his first real MVP award? Malalaman natin yan soon enough. Kung gusto nyo pumasa sa mga friends niyo, sabihin nyo, sabi ni Ren na eh. So, yan ang habulin nyo ha. Kung matalo kayo sa pustahan mga kaibigan, wala ako dyan. Yan ang tao ko sabi niya. Okay, Coach Ren, maraming salamat. We'll see you again soon.
Hi guys, keep watching The Score for the latest sports updates and don't forget to subscribe to the ABS-CBN Sports in Action YouTube channel.